Whether or not the firestorm has been doused is, of course, open for interpretation. Joining us now, conservative author and commentator Ann Coulter and Democratic analyst Tanya Acker. Good to have you both with us.
Thanks for having us
this morning. Whether or not it has been doused really is open for interpretation. There was so much talk after President Obama was elected that we were now in this post-racial America, which clearly this past week shows that's not the case. And why does this keep happening?
I don't think it has been post-racial for a second with this administration. I mean, as your package just showed, you had the president calling Sergeant Crowley, saying he was acting stupidly. You just up to now, you had this, them not prosecuting the new Black Panthers on the grounds that they won't prosecute a voting rights case against blacks. You had Sonia Sotomayor saying she was a wise Latina and ruling against white firemen who didn't get promotions because of their race. I mean, it's been nonstop.
But why?
I think we found out from the journo list this week, in large part, and that is liberal journalists, hundreds of them, chit-chatting about how to protect Obama, and they're openly saying, we're in trouble, we need to distract from what's going on, let's just randomly call a conservative racist. So liberals use this all the time to distract from what's going on.
Tanya, I'm guessing that you don't agree with that assessment at all.
Speaking of distractions, I find it very ironic, I mean, with all due respect to Ann, to get a lecture on race relations from someone who said that Jews need to be perfected. But moving past that, I think when you look at this incident, let's not get distracted from what happened. A woman whose father was murdered by a white farmer, for which there was never any indictment, any prosecution, was telling a story about racial redemption. And what we saw happen on the right, Andrew Breitbart and others really ran with this story. And look, I expect doctored journalism. I expect selective editing from the Breitbarts and the Hannitys. What I think is really problematic here is that what you're seeing is that the mainstream press is sort of being cowed by this right-wing journalism. So you've got folks on the right making these things up, taking things out of context, and then saying, gosh darn it, why isn't the rest of the media reporting on this? And then people jump on that, and this poor woman was crucified for 2 days until we found out what really happened.
How much of that, though, is either side? Because these things happen on both sides. It's not just one side or the other, kowtowing to another side. How much of it, the fact that we live in this society where everything is so immediate and that people don't take the time they need to check the facts?
Yeah, I would contest that it happens on both sides. Things taken out of context. I never said Jews need to be perfected. I accurately described the New Testament. How about the photo, as MSNBC is describing white men bringing guns to Obama rallies, where they only show the gun, you don't see it's a black man with the gun. Center for American Progress this week, run by John Podesta on Obama's transition team, shows an alleged Nazi at a Tea Party announcing, I'm a racist, I'm a proud racist.
And things like this happen on both sides. On Fox News, we saw footage that was ran months ago, purportedly showing certain crowds at rallies, and they were from a different event. This happens across the board.
And you pull back from the Center for American Progress, and it's all Tea Partiers saying, go home, you're not one of us. You have CBS News itself has reported that John Lewis was called the N-word 15 times. That is a lie. That is a despicable lie. That never happened. Why doesn't CBS News apologize for that?
When there's this constant back and forth on both sides, is there any way to resolve it and to get a conversation going?
Certainly. I mean, I think that we have to depend on, it really depends on who's trying to have the conversation. I think that there are plenty of well-meaning Americans who do want to try to deal with the issue of race in a responsible way without the name-calling, without trying to defend racism on either side. And I think that it's really it's a matter of having that conversation in a respectful and productive way, and in a productive forum.
Well, I appreciate you both coming in to have the conversation this morning. Ann Coulter, Tanya Acker, thank you both for your time.